Yep. Yeah, hello, and once again, good evening, YouTube. Welcome back. Welcome back to the never-ending suffering and misery that is existence itself. We all know that absolutely nothing has any inherent meaning. Everything's made up, and the points don't matter, as evidenced by basically everything that's happened this entire year. Once again, I must emphasize, nothing matters. Everything is completely meaningless. But that doesn't mean that we can't take a trek through hell and back and just experience the sheer stupidity and agony that is being alive. It is that time, once again, for the Chase Predictions video. Oh man, I thought you were done. I thought you were done, they said. Well, I've made a video for this every year for the past 7 years. And I've also made the correct champion prediction for the past 2 seasons. Therefore, as long as I have a streak going, I will continue doing these videos, despite the fact that I could not care less what happens. In fact, I hope everything I say is wrong, and the stupidest possible outcome is the outcome that we get. But in all likelihood, that will not be the case, because not only do we have to deal with the awful, wretched bag of shit Cup Series, but we also have to deal with the wretched, awful bag of shit Xfinity Series, and the wretched, awful bag of shit Truck Series. Yeah. So why don't we start with the Truck Series like always, and why don't we start with Carson Hocevar, who was the absolute anime protagonist. In fact, I said at one point that he was the anime protagonist, but and as if that's changed, but he really is. He's just going through his turn to the dark side arc, because Carson Hocevar has spent this entire season getting railed out of wins that he absolutely deserved. He should have minimum 6 wins on the season thus far. He has gotten injured, and then he went out and put the truck on the pole, and then wrecked immediately after that and went to the back. And he did all of that on a broken foot and could not even finish that race. Can you imagine if he did not have a broken foot at Sonoma? Good Lord, he would have lapped the field. But you see, the problem for Carson Hocevar is that he has gone into his bad boy arc. Because not only did he wreck Ryan Preece while going for the win that he should have gotten, and that, entire restart shouldn't have even happened, but ignoring that, at Indianapolis Raceway Park, he dumped Colby Howard, who was racing him for position, for absolutely no reason. And that alone has completely turned everyone against him. I have not seen such an instantaneous flip from beloved underdog to absolutely universally despised like I have witnessed for Carson Hocevar after that IRP moment. Will he make the Final Four? I doubt it. As for someone who will make the Final Four, Chandler Smith. Once again, the best driver in the Truck Series, the one with the most talent, has been the one with the most talent since 2019 when he made his first start that he should have won. And yeah, he has won multiple times. Should have been more times, but I'm just glad that he's winning races, period. Because it took him long enough to do that to begin with. But he is in the next round, thanks to winning Richmond. Oh, once again, the Truck Series chase started in July, and the Xfinity chase doesn't start for another month. And the Cup Series chase just started, so there are 2 months of separation between the Truck Series chase starting and the Xfinity chase starting. Whoever wrote these schedules is an actual inbred moron. More on that later. John Hunter Nemechek. Speaking of moron, John Hunter Nemechek. Now, he has done, in my eyes, what Carson Hocevar has done in everyone else's eyes. After his crew chief completely threw away the championship last season for absolutely no reason, John Hunter Nemechek has come back this season in full stride and in full heel mode. Literally everything John Hunter Nemechek has done has served to piss me off. He pushed fucking Corey-ass Heim to a fucking win at Atlanta, which cost Chandler a win for literally no reason other than fuck Chandler Smith, I guess. Then he blocked his shit in at Texas in another race that Chandler should have won, but, you know, Chandler's pit crew is useless, so he lined up behind Nemechek, and Nemechek just fucking held the brake. So that's another win he cost Chandler, and he has been utterly irrelevant otherwise. Like, thankfully, he's been a complete non-factor this season, despite being a driver with Cup Series experience and was by far it wasn't even close. He was the best driver last season, and he was winning races left and right. This year, he barely won one race, and he has been utterly irrelevant otherwise. The downfall of John Hunter Nemechek from, like, potential Truck Series legend and the races, and he won a race in Xfinity last year. Like, no one even talks about the fact that he now has 2 Xfinity Series wins as opposed to 1. You know, no one cares about that because Xfinity wins mean absolutely nothing anymore. But that being said, John Hunter Nemechek will probably make the Final Four despite not doing anything this season. Speaking of probably not even making the Final Four, but just doing nothing, Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton has once again gone through a season doing virtually fuck all. Why is he even racing anymore? He's just there. I don't even know what to say about him. He's just in the chase because no one else was mediocre enough to displace him from the chase. And in all likelihood, he'll make the Final Four again, despite doing absolutely fuck all this season. This guy's a cunt and will probably fucking make the Final Four again. Grant Enfinger. He has been irrelevant this season until he got reunited with his best buddy, Jeff Hensley. And then they just went out and won IRP because, well, Enfinger's a good driver and Hensley's a great crew chief, and they are a fantastic combination. I think they were together in 2020 when Enfinger was amazing. So hopefully he is still amazing. Then there's Ty Majeski. Now, Ty Majeski is an interesting case. This is his first season. He has finally gotten a full-time opportunity, something that we've been waiting to see from Majeski ever since he first made it to NASCAR. Can you please stop texting me while I'm in the middle of a video? Thank you. Majeski, we finally got to see him in a full-time vehicle, and he's done good. He should have won a few races, actually, already. So that's for sure. Majeski is very good. He is a very good driver. Will he do anything for the rest of his career or for the rest of the chase? That only time will tell. And then there's Stuart Friesen, who still exists, unfortunately. Stuart Friesen has won again. He won for the first time since 2018? I don't know, dude, but he's been irrelevant for several years. The only reason that Sheldon Creed wasn't the champion last year is because he fucking dumped Todd Gilliland for no reason in Martinsville. That race fucking sucked. And as for Stuart Friesen, he's just kind of been Matt Craftoning it for the entire season, from what I understand. And he just managed to just get a win, I guess. I'm sure someone cares about that, but I know that I don't. Then there's Zane Smith, who is completely insufferable. Of course, he's going to the Cup Series next year. Thankfully, he's not outright replacing Michael McDowell like I was predicting at the start of the year. But, you know, he may as well be. With luck, his career will fizzle out, and he will prove that Todd Gilliland was actually better the entire time, because Gilliland was absolutely killing it in the chase last season, but kept getting screwed over at the very end of the race. Very Carson Hocevar-esque. So hopefully Gilliland destroys his shit next year, and Zane Smith can fizzle out and go away. Then there's Christian Eckes, who should have won a Gateway, but, you know, literally nothing good can ever happen in this sport. So he didn't. Eckes has been, like, barely relevant this season. It's kind of at Crafton level of relevancy, except Eckes has led way more laps. But because there's already 2 races complete in this round, we already know, really, I already know who's making the next round and who isn't, so why are we even doing this? I have Zane Smith winning Kansas because everything sucks. I'm sure, because nothing good ever happens at Kansas, so I'm sure nothing good will continue to happen at Kansas. And the ones that I do not have moving on are Ekis and Crafton. Despite the fact that in all likelihood Crafton will make the Final Four, because, you know, really, like I said, absolutely none of this matters. You could blow an engine on the last two to go at Homestead, and you could have had a 50-point gap coming into that race. But if you blow an engine with two to go, you could still not make the final round, because fundamentally nothing about any of this matters. It's all bullshit. It's all just theatrical garbage. These championships mean absolutely fucking nothing anymore. But out of these, how many drivers is this? 8 drivers. The fun part about the second truck round is that it drops off 4 instead of just 2. And we go to Bristol, Talladega, and Homestead, which is a very good broad sweep of tracks. We got one of the best short tracks. We got a terrible track where nothing matters. And then we got Homestead, which used to be a good track. Out of these 3 tracks and out of these 8 drivers, who is going to have success and stuff? Well, let's find out. I'm giving Bristol to Ty Majeski. Majeski's skill set perfectly suits him for Bristol. I think it suited him better for Richmond, which is why I'm surprised he did not challenge the KBM trucks, and which gives me a lot of confidence for Chandler moving forward, is that no one was able to touch him at Richmond. You know, Richmond, I really did think that Richmond would be a great addition to the Truck Series schedule. I was wrong. I am not afraid to admit that I was wrong. I thought Richmond would be a fantastic track for the Truck Series, and it's actually put on the ones that I have watched. They have put on some of the worst shows of the season in any series. I am not afraid to admit that I was wrong. Richmond has been a complete bust for the Truck Series. But for Ty Majeski, I mean, Bristol, once again, short track. That's what Majeski's done his entire career. And Majeski was good at Richmond. He just wasn't good enough to win. Bristol, you can take the driver talent and maybe stretch it a little bit, even though he's clearly one of the top ThorSport trucks. Like, of course, the fuck-ass 99 is going to be the top truck forever at ThorSport. But even if Ty Majeski is second best, he's still outrun cunt-ass Rhodes most races. And I think Bristol is the best chance that he's got to win. I also think that Bristol's the best chance Matt DiBenedetto has to win, but he's been total shit all season, so maybe he'll finish 5th. Maybe. Chandler could easily repeat at Bristol, but I think the momentum is... And, the momentum's in Chandler's favor, but I just have a fucking feeling about the Bristol race for Ty Majeski. That's just... I feel really good about it, and he's going to win his way into the Final Four. Talladega, you can see that I don't have anyone winning that, because Spencer Boyd owns Talladega, and Young's Motorsports is looking for 4 in a row, so... Or 3 in a row, even. So, you know, it wouldn't even surprise me if Spencer Boyd got his second career win this season at Talladega. Fundamentally, nothing matters, like I said. And then Homestead, I have Grant Enfinger winning that, because Enfinger was the second best driver to Moffitt in 2018 at Homestead. Enfinger's always been solid at Homestead. And now that he's back with Jeff Hensley, I think he is going to win his way into the Final Four at the 11th hour, just like he did in 2020. And then nothing mattered in 2020 because this entire championship format fucking blows. And then I have the Smiths going on because Chandler is too good. He's just simply too good. The only thing I'm worried about is Talladega for Chandler. If he can win Bristol and win his way into the Final Four like that, I'll be a lot more happy. And if he can just survive Talladega, he'll be fine at Homestead. He'll have a top 5 truck at Homestead. And then Zane Smith has 10,000 bonus points. So, I mean, unless, something good happens and he misses, but, considering everyone else in this fucking round, it's probably going to be Rhodes that moves on instead. So, fucking move on, Zane. Fucking move on. Do what you fucking failed to do last year. He probably would too, considering it's Chandler's championship to lose. Out of these final four, Majeski is not good enough to win the championship, even though he is in a Thor Sport truck, so he could just get immaculate pace at the end of the race. But I don't think he was. You'd think that he'd have a similar skill set for Phoenix that he would for Richmond, but you know, Crafton had the same equipment last year and couldn't do shit. Well, I mean, same equipment, fucking heavy air quotes on that one. Enfinger, out of everyone on this list, Enfinger's the one with the most experience racing for a championship at Phoenix. Well, maybe not, but he's the one that's had the most experience competitively challenging for a championship at Phoenix. And GMS has taken a step back this year, mostly due to the fact that they and Nice are continuing to sign just absolute garbage drivers who will amount to nothing, ever, at any point. Like, fucking Dalton Sargent had more potential than Jack Wood, yet who got the second season? Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Chandler, of course, he owned this track last year. He owned Richmond like absolutely nothing. The only one that came close was Nemechek. And I don't even have Nemechek making the Final Four because that's just how much he sucked this year. It really is Chandler's championship to lose. Knowing how it goes, he probably will. But that doesn't stop me from making the prediction that hopefully Chandler Smith will win the championship this year, and he will move on to the 9 car in the Xfinity Series for 2023. Speaking of the Xfinity Series, oh, it's just pure suffering on a platter, isn't it? I did have Jeremy Clements on this list, and I did make a video where Jeremy Clements was the one that made the chase. But then they decided he didn't win, actually. Except he did win. For the first time since DQ'd wins have come into existence, the winner of a race lost the ability to use it for the chase, but he did not lose the win. This feels entirely fucking arbitrary. I mean, I thought when it was an L2 penalty that they would always be disqualified. In fact, it literally said that in the NASCAR press release when the DQ system came into existence. But suddenly, it doesn't. It's funny how that works. And this joke doesn't work anymore because Busch actually did not run any Busch races, which I genuinely am surprised by. We'll see how that looks next year. Ty Gibbs, he is the best. In a very similar vein to Chandler Smith, Ty Gibbs is the best. No one is on his level right now, besides AJ Allmendinger. And yeah, Ty Gibbs is just eating ass and taking names. He is already in the Cup Series because Kurt Busch decided he didn't want to have a functioning brain anymore. Well, actually, NASCAR decided they didn't want to make a safe vehicle, so now Kurt Busch no longer has a functioning brain. Should very much clarify that. Thank you, NASCAR, for rushing this project and knowingly putting your drivers in harm's way because you had the data that showed that the cars weren't safe. But that's a subject for a different day. Ty Gibbs, I said he'd have 9 wins. I think he has 6. I don't know, dude. He'll win. He'll win a few more races. Don't worry. We haven't even started the Xfinity Chase yet. There's still like 3 races before that even begins. He could very well win the next 3 fucking races. You know, so who cares? Ty Gibbs is amazing. He will probably make the Final Four. Speaking of making the Final Four and amazing, Justin Allgaier is none of those things. Justin Allgaier has made it his life's work to make me miserable for the past 10, 12 years. Yeah. He will most likely either make the Final Four and do fuck all at his best track, or miss the Final Four and have the best race of the season at the Final Four race when he's not a part of the Final Four. Because that is the Justin Allgaier way. God, I wish that he could get a different crew chief because Jason Burdett is the dumbest motherfucker ever. Allgaier does have 3 wins this year. He does have 3 wins this year. That's good. That's good. Junior Motorsports is blatantly overpowered to all shit. So it really doesn't mean much, but, you know. Then there's this fuckboy who is only in the sport because he's friends with Dale Jr. And then the cars tore. Dale Jr. got into one of those cars and was a 10th and a half faster than the entire field. So that really should say everything about Junior Motorsports late models. Fucking Riley Herbst. There was a stat that I was sitting on for a long time and I never made a tweet about, that Riley Herbst had less laps led in 2022 than Chase Briscoe had race wins in 2020. Because up until Watkins Glen, Herbst had 5 laps led on the season. You may know that Chase Briscoe had 9 wins in 2020 in the exact same car. So, you know, that's interesting. AJ Allmendinger. Colleague has taken a total shit this year, expanding into the Cup Series. They have had no speed at all in either series besides Allmendinger at road courses. But Allmendinger is the only one that's at Allmendinger's level on the road courses is Ty Gibbs. So there's really no surprise there. There really is no surprise that Allmendinger has won virtually all those races and should have won virtually all those races for that matter. And then this fuckboy who is being railed by Gibbs every single week and you know, Gibbs has, you know, more wins this year than this fuckboy has in his entire career. That has spanned in nearly 200 races. So, you know, that's something. Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer has gone from someone that I despised after 2020 to, you know, you gotta fucking take what you can get. I used to hate Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is now my favorite in the series alongside, well, I mean, I hate Allgaier, but I also love Allgaier. So I guess technically, you know, like, I adore, like, Justin Allgaier is like a 100 like to me, but like a negative 100 dislike to me, while Ty Gibbs is like a 70 like and like a 20 dislike. So, you know, that's a positive 50 versus a 0. So I guess I like Ty Gibbs more than I like Allgaier. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that you have to take what you can get. I mean, in this series, I fucking hate pretty much everyone in Xfinity. It's pretty sad. So you got to take what you can get, and I have to fucking like Sam Mayer, because if I dislike Sam Mayer, then then maybe he'd do good, you know. But speaking of doing good, that is not what Sam Mayer has done this year. He has taken junior motorsports cars that have been just stupidly overpowered, just sickeningly, abhorrently overpowered. It's not even close how much better junior motorsports is than every other team in Xfinity. And he's barely run top 5 in it. So, you know, I like Sam Mayer, but he kind of sucks. Austin Hill, who I thought would never get out of the Truck Series last year, has now got 2 Xfinity wins for Richard Childress Racing. Definitely did not expect that. I did not know that Richard Childress was allowed to hire likable people. You see, the thing is that Austin Hill has kind of just he has been a total pendulum on my like/dislike meter. There have been years where I adore Austin Hill, and then there have been years where I despise Austin Hill. This year has been one of the good ones because he's won races that other douchebags could have won, but instead he won. So that's good. I appreciate that. He's kind of not won any race on talent. I think the Daytona race ended under caution, and Atlanta is a fucking piece of shit track now. So there was no way he was losing that race with like 70 to go. So, you know, quite the series. But Austin Hill's been fine. Like, he has been like head and shoulders up better than Sheldon Creed, and I'm not just saying that because he's both taller and fatter than Sheldon Creed. But hey, you know. Daniel Hemrick, who will forever be a favorite of mine unless something really bad happens. Thanks to the ending of the Xfinity Championship last season, which, if you didn't know, was actually the only positive outcome to an Xfinity Series championship since the chase came into existence in the Xfinity Series. From 2016 to 2020, there were 0 good Xfinity champions. What the fuck? Daniel Hemrick single-handedly broke the curse. He broke his own curse. He made the Xfinity Series good, and I don't even know how that's possible. So I will always like Daniel Hemrick, despite him absolutely taking a nosedive in performance. He has barely been better than Landon Castle, which says a fucking lot about the state of colleague. And um, yeah, but you know how it goes. He'll probably have a couple of good races. Maybe colleague will suddenly be good in chase, and Hemrick will go on another championship run. That'd be funny. I would appreciate it if he got another championship. I think it'd be even funnier if he didn't win the race this time. Just 2 championships with 1 career win. That would be funny. Speaking of funny, Landon Castle. Oh my god, dude. Landon Castle. I wish that he was in this car last season. I really wish that he was in this car when colleague was good. Because Castle's been fine. He was walking mediocrity for most of the season, but he's been close to wins. He's been close to fucking wins. I still think Landon Castle's a good driver. I still think he could be a championship contender in the right equipment. It's just colleague took a fucking nosedive this year, and I really wish that he was in this 10 car last year instead of con-ass Jeb fucking Burton. Irrelevant-ass bitch. I think the original plan was for Landon Castle to be in this car last year, but then the pandemic happened and then sponsorship didn't exist anymore. I'm fucking shocked that he's even in the car this year, considering how much crypto has absolutely tanked. I should know. I have a lot of crypto. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. But Castle's fine. Maybe he'll go on a championship run. This fucking bitch. So in a year where Junior Motorsports is blatantly overpowered, this guy barely has even won as many races as Justin Allgaier at terrible tracks. Fucking tracks that don't matter. Like, he fucking laughably lost at Michigan, having by far, by a half-second per lap better car than everyone else in the field. But, it's funny how everyone that has driven the 9 car, other than this fuckboy, has won the championship in their first season in the car. Chase Elliott, William Byron, even though it was total fucking bullshit, the Ginger even won the championship in his first season. That was complete fucking garbage, but it happened. It is way more than this talentless fuckboy can say, in any case. And he will be going into the Cup Series to do absolutely fuck all because he is a fucking useless ass bitch. And I look forward to his career completely torpedoing as he runs even worse than Ty Dillon does. I mean, you fucking picked, out of everyone in the garage, you picked the one fucking driver that would be worse in the 42 car than Ty Dillon. Quite frankly, I'm impressed. And fuck all of you. Ryan C., he should not be in the chase. Jeremy Clements should be in the chase. Or Timmy Hill should be in the chase. But, NASCAR just doesn't fucking care about their own rules. So Ryan Sieg will probably be in the chase. Unless Sheldon Creed wins, which is possible. But, given the tracks that we have before the chase starts, I think is pretty unlikely. That being said, Ryan Sieg, he was really good. The last year he was in a Chevy. Then last year he was shit. And now this year he's kind of decent. Not really. He hasn't contended. Well, he was in the front at Atlanta in the spring, I guess. But then he lost that. Yeah. I mean, Jeremy Clements wasn't going to do anything in the chase either, but, Ryan Sieg will do even less. Texas, Talladega, and the Roval. Wow, that pales in comparison to this round. Texas, Talladega, and the Roval. 3 horrendous tracks. Who's going to do what where? Let's find out, I guess. I have Ty Gibbs winning Texas because he should have last year, and there's no one on his level. And Allgaier could win, but he's not allowed to win at Texas, so he won't. So Ty Gibbs will. I have Landon Castle winning Talladega. Now, hear me out on this one. Landon Castle was really good at plate tracks before he went to colleague, which you'd fucking think would be the exact opposite, but no. Landon Castle has been complete garbage at the fucking plate tracks. Despite him running, he got top 5s in the fucking 40 car. I don't even remember what team that was back in, 2014. And he got top 5s running for JD Motorsports at plate tracks. It's Landon's too good to not be doing good at plate tracks. So I think that it's going to be a total shit show at Talladega because, once again, absolutely nothing matters. These plate races are even stupider I mean, somehow these plate races are starting to transcend 2015 Talladega levels of stupidity. Like, they have found a way to absolutely destroy any credibility that these races had left. In any case, Landon Castle will win at Talladega. And Allmendinger will win the Roval, because I think he's won every race at the Roval he's ever run. So, you know, Ty Gibbs will give him a shot, give him a run for his money. The only one who's ever been able to come close to Allmendinger at the Roval was Chase Briscoe, who cannot run this race this year. So, yeah. Looks like it's going to be Allmendinger then. I have Allgaier moving on because the misery needs to continue. I have this boring person because Junior Motorsports is blatantly overpowered. I have Talentless moving on because Junior Motorsports overpowered. I have Austin Hill moving on because he has a bunch of bonus points. And I have Hemrick moving on because, man, I hope he goes on another championship run. Really, I should just mention who doesn't move on. Ryan Sieg, duh. Sam Mayer. He is in Junior Motorsports equipment, but he has absolutely no consistency, so he will not move on. This fuckboy who should never have any race wins because he's a fuckboy, and then Herbst, who is a waste of space, and will probably be going to the Cup Series in some capacity next year because, literally, as I said, nothing matters. Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. Out of these drivers, who is good enough to win at Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville? Let's find out. Boom! Yeah, I have Ty Gibbs winning these 3 races. Now, hear me out. Hear me out on this one. Ty Gibbs is amazing. He is winning races everywhere. And in all likelihood, Junior Motorsports will eat themselves alive trying to get themselves into the next round. Meanwhile, Ty Gibbs is just too good, too hot to handle. He's been running Cup races, and he's still performing at, you know, the top of his game, despite running 2 different cars every weekend now. He's just getting extra track time. Like, quite frankly, he's too powerful. Which is why I think Vegas is the toughest race for him in this stretch. He needs... Oh, actually, didn't he win Vegas? Never mind. Homestead's the toughest race on the stretch for him, but I have confidence. Gibby is going to be too good, and then he fucking should have won Martinsville earlier this season, so, you know. I have Allgaier moving on because my misery will see no end. I have Talentless moving on because fucking of course he will. I mean, it's Junior Motorsports is blatantly overpowered, and if he doesn't make the Final 4, well, that'd just be fucking funny. And once again would, you know, like call into question the sanity of Richard Petty. He's just fucking senile. Total senility and blinded by the pursuit of capital. AJ Allmendinger, I am moving to the Final 4 again because, well, he'll have a bunch of bonus points from all his road course wins. He can't win anywhere else because colleague sucks. Like, Allmendinger was great at, you know, everywhere last year. It wasn't just the road courses. He was winning at ovals, too. It's just colleague decided to torpedo their own team for the sake of 2 Cup cars. And... well, I still say Allmendinger's moving on to the Final 4, but, you know, it'll be tough. So, Phoenix. Out of these 4, you have to give it to Ty. You know, he is so good. Too good, as a matter of fact. And the real question is, could he handle the pressure of being the championship favorite? And, you see, the thing is that he's handled pressure so well over this season. He was handling pressure like a king last year. Ty Gibbs is simply too good. He's simply too fucking good. Like, Allgaier's best track is Phoenix, and this is the best that Junior Motorsports has ever been, but Jason Burdett will do everything in his power to fucking suck. Talentless was... I fucking thought after the truck race last year that it was his championship to lose, and even when the pit crew handed him the spot... he still fucking choked like a bitch. So I assume he'll choke like a bitch again. And then there's Allmendinger, who, you know, once again, colleague sucks this year. So if it's between Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier, I'll be happy. But in all likelihood, this is not what the Final 4 will look like. And it will be some total fucking bullshit instead. But no matter who is listed in the Final 4, it's Ty Gibbs' championship to lose. It is. It's Ty Gibbs' championship to lose. There's just No one else on his level. He's just too good. Oh my god. We still have the Cup Series to talk about. Alex Bowman, he's been fucking irrelevant all season, and the only reason he has a win is because Eric Jones wrecked with 2 to go in Las Vegas. So that's cool. Bowman is a bitch. I don't know. I don't even know why I hate Alex Bowman. It's because he's at Hendrick. That's the reason. The only reason I hate him is because he's at Hendrick. If it was on any other team, see, I think I said this before, but I think Kyle Larson would be one of my favorite drivers right now if he had signed with Stewart Haas. But he didn't, so fuck him. Denny Hamlin. He has run one of the worst seasons of his career, despite getting 3 wins, despite what, you know, a fucking piece of cunt-ass tape would tell you. Yeah, isn't that funny how Jeremy Clements did not lose his win for modifying an actual piece of the car? Meanwhile, Hamlin and Busch were disqualified to the back of the field with 0 points for a piece of fucking Scotch tape on the nose of the car. Oh my fucking god. Every single day that passes, I fucking hate NASCAR more and more. Anyway, Hamlin's been crap this year. I'm sure he'll make the Final Four. Harvick, fucking dumb bitch. Man, everything terrible that's happened this year, it was fine, because at least Harvick hadn't won. Now he has 2 fucking wins. Thanks. Now nothing to that, all the shit that's happened this season means absolutely nothing, because Harvick's won. So who cares? And he's probably not going to fucking retire now, because he's fucking won. You know, if he'd just not done anything this year, he probably would have retired after this season or next season. But no, now he's going to stick around for another 5 fucking years. Thanks. Fucking Ryan Priest's career in shambles. And then there's this bitch boy who has won 2 fucking horrendous races this year. And the fucking cunt-ass Clash. I fucking just remembered that race happened. That was terrible. Preview of what would happen over the course of this season. So he wrecked Byron at Darlington for no reason other than he's a bitch. He was sad that he got raced for the first time in his career. And then Gateway happened, one of the worst races this season. I mean, that's up there with Road America as far as impossible to pass pile of shit tracks. You know, the thing is that Road America is an amazing track in the Xfinity Series. It's nearly a perfect track in the Xfinity Series. But the 2 races in the Cup Series that it's had were absolute fucking garbage. I don't know why people were so mad that the Cup race doesn't exist at Road America anymore. I mean, I know the Chicago street course is the stupidest shit that you've ever heard, but come on. At least it's not replacing a good track. Like, for God's sake. They could have replaced, like, one of the Bristol races. Well, then again, they did replace one of the Bristol races with a shittier version of a Bristol race, but, you know how it goes. Christopher Bell, perennial failure, only has a win thanks to Hendrick giving up, and Harvick just fucking over Truex after Truex having a terrible pit stop, because that's the name of his career. And then Harvick just took it 3 wide for absolutely no fucking reason, and Truex was never able to recover. So he should have won New Hampshire, but, you know, Harvick fucked him again. Harvick single-handedly ruining everything about this fucking sport since 2001. But Bell won that race in New Hampshire. He should have won like 4 other times this year, but because he's a perennial failure, he can't. So, fuck him. And then there's this guy. Oh my god, I hate everyone in the Cup Series. I have not been happy after a Cup Series race since 2017. Genuinely. I think I have not been happy since 2017 after a Cup race. I genuinely think that. Elliott's been the only driver who can finish races this year. Like, the only reason that he's got such a huge lead in points is because everyone else wrecks. But he doesn't for some reason. Funny how that works. Daniel Suarez. Oh, he's been 15 places worse than Ross Chastain all season. And only has a win because the road course package is fucking horrendous, and no one wanted to try at Sonoma, especially the Hendrick cars. The Hendrick cars just decided, you know what, we're not going to win this race. And yeah, Suarez won that race. It was boring. Buescher was faster the entire run, but he couldn't pass because the road course package is shit. And Suarez won. And then he went immediately back to being, 15 spots worse than Chastain. So great, he'll be in the Cup Series for the next 5 years doing fucking nothing. Then there's the Giraffe, who put his teammate in the wall to win the Daytona 500. And that was almost the difference between Blaney making the chase and not making the chase, was the guy that he pushed to the lead and could have taken 3 wide at any point, but chose not to because he wanted his organization to get the win, and was repaid by getting put in the wall by a fucking pencil neck bitch. Who then went on to do absolutely fuck all season, especially at road courses where he's supposedly supposed to be fucking amazing, but he only ever finished like in the top 5 once at the Indianapolis road course, and Harrison Burton finished 3rd in that race, which should tell you everything you need to know about the quality of road course racing in the Cup Series. Fuck this fucking nepotism-ass cunt. He will be in the Cup Series for the next 20 years because his dad works at Penske. Just fuck this entire sport to death. William Byron, he's still cute, but I have to hate him because he races for Hendrick. And also, being the only driver at Hendrick that I like, of course, he has been the subject of the perennial beatings. He has not done anything since winning Atlanta, which was a terrible race. So, He also won Martinsville, which was also a terrible race. Quite possibly the worst Martinsville race since the 2018 spring race, which was, bad for similar reasons. Bad for very similar reasons. There was, a lot of correlation between those two races. The point that I'm trying to make is that Byron has sucked this year, and that's probably not going to change into the chase. And then there's Kyle Busch, the guy that should be in the 10 car in IndyCar next year. Hopefully, he is. He has been, and even though it's been a terrible year for Busch, he has still been the best Gibbs driver. Yeah. It's been a sad state of affairs for Busch. Painful to watch and agonizing to sit through. Well, not really, because I don't even like Busch. But if you're a fan of Busch, it's been agonizing. And yet, he's still, what was it, like 4th in points going into the chase? So, that really does say everything about the season, doesn't it? Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe, try as he might, he can't save every race. Chase Briscoe has tried his best to do everything in his power to make every race have a positive outcome. And praise unto his name, our Lord and Savior Chase Briscoe. He saved us from the Bristol night race. He saved us in the Coke 600. He has tried and tried again to save us. But he is but a mere mortal, and he cannot save us forever. Briscoe, I love him so much. He has definitely supplanted Ryan Blaney as my favorite driver if Truex were to fuck off at any point. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Chase Briscoe, he has sucked this year, and he'll probably continue to suck. Then there's the Ginger, who has 2 garbage wins at 2 garbage tracks. That should mean nothing, but, we're going to pretend like it does mean something for the sake of this video. And, my fucking god, I fucking despise this cunt. There's nothing positive about his career. Everything that he's done has been insufferable. Lest we forget, he nearly murdered Austin Terrio for no reason other than he's a dumb fucking bitch. And, yeah, he's having the career that Austin Terrio should have had. I mean, if you consider that Cindric's had that career too, but, you know how it goes. This bitch will be probably replacing Kurt Busch because, why would anyone likable replace Kurt Busch? Why wouldn't anyone who's worth a shit, who's actually had an arc, Kurt Busch has had one of the, I've been making a lot of talk about anime protagonists in this video, but Kurt Busch has had a total anime protagonist arc where he came in as the hot-headed youth and got humbled multiple times, and then he became one of the most likable drivers in the field and someone that you could consistently root for. He's going to be replaced by someone who owned a fucking record store's kid. who was worse than Daniel Hemrick his entire, worse than Daniel Hemrick in the Truck Series, was never the best driver in the Truck Series at any point. Despite Daniel Hemrick leading the points for the vast majority of 2016 and only missing the second round of the chase due to the fact that the chase fucking sucked in 2016. I mean, it still sucks today, but it sucked even worse back then if that was even possible. So, he led the points all season. And then fucking missed the fucking first round because what a good point system. Yeah. It's cool how that works. Fuck Reddick, he's such a fucking bitch. Speaking of a bitch, someone who could have held the break at Daytona and maybe we would be having a completely different video right now. But no. This fucking cross-eyed dumbass cost Truex points on multiple occasions. Dover, he dumped his ass for literally no reason. Which was, I don't even know how many spots Truex lost, but it was without a doubt the points that he needed to make the chase. And he also dumped Truex at Daytona because he couldn't hold the fucking brake when a wreck was happening in front of him. And that also cost Truex the chase. Chastain is a fucking living, breathing dumbass. And he might be the stupidest motherfucker to ever strap into a race car. That being said, he's still better than Daniel Suarez. Larson. The champion slump has hit Larson hard. He should have no wins this year. But thanks to, California, he won that race. Once again, thanks to Eric Jones. I fucking adore Eric Jones. He is one of my favorites ever. And yet, he has been the architect of 2 Hendrick wins. I just don't even know what to say at this point. I can't win. Larson's been completely irrelevant this year, but he will probably make the Final Four. And then there's this guy. This fucking guy. I'm not even mad that Austin Dillon won because it means that one of my predictions was correct. But that being said, the way it happened is an aberration. But I'm not going to talk about it. I made a community post about it, and I'm not going to talk about that fucking race anymore because I don't want to pretend like it, is... I don't want to lend any credibility to it. So we're just going to pretend it doesn't exist. And we're just going to say that Austin Dillon's in the chase. And then there's Ryan Blaney, who won the All-Star race, if anyone remembers that happened. Yeah. The fact that Blaney could have missed the chase, despite being second in points, because he got put in the wall at the end of the Daytona 500, the fact that that's the case. Why does anyone take the sport seriously? Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. That's a pretty shit string of tracks. I mean, Darlington's okay sometimes. Kansas always sucks. And Bristol, well, last year it sucked. In any case, who's going to win in these tracks? I got Hamlin winning at Darlington because that's kind of his job. And Larson winning Kansas because, well, I mean, it'll probably happen. And I also have Elliott winning Bristol because it's going to happen one of these years. Despite all fucking agony and misery that is the idea of Elliott winning Bristol. I mean, it's going to happen at some point. Hopefully, Hamlin rattles his cage again like he did to Benedetto, Hopefully. I have Harvick moving on because he's a bitch. I have Byron moving on because, I mean... I don't have Bowman moving on because he's been irrelevant all season. He's been irrelevant at the level of, fucking this guy. But Byron at least is able to turn it on during the chase, I would hope. I have Busch moving on because he's the only good JGR driver besides Hamlin. I have the Ginger moving on because everything sucks. I have Chastain moving on because I hate my life. I have Suarez moving on, because there's really no one else that could. I have Blaney moving on because he's too good to miss. I have Bell moving on because while he's sucked this year, he has been consistent in other places. He was 8th in points moving into the chase. And I have Logano moving on because everything sucks. I should have just said who I didn't have moving on. I don't have Bowman moving on because... Well, he could because he's a Hendrick driver, but, they'll probably, manipulate another race. He'll finish third in some race, and then they'll just DQ the top 2 drivers, and then he'll be able to move on, because absolutely nothing matters. I have... It's Cindric not moving on because, he's done fuck all. this season besides put his teammate in the wall at Daytona. I do not have Briscoe moving on because despite being the best driver to ever live, to ever exist, he has been complete and total fucking garbage for like the past 6 months. So, you know. And then I have Dylan not moving on because he's been 23rd in points all season. Like, what? What do you expect him to do? I mean, he was good at Darlington 1 year. 1 year. Exactly once Austin Dillon was good at Darlington, so maybe he'll move on. I don't fucking know. Texas, Talladega, and the Roval. Oh, it's just terrible. I have Larson winning Texas because everything sucks. I have Blaney winning Talladega because he's too good to not win, and Talladega is usually the track that he wins at anyway. Then again, Blaney won 3 races last year, so his quota of winning 1 race every year was stricken. So maybe he's gonna not win this year or next year to rebalance everything out. But you know, Talladega is like the best guess that I have. And the Roval. I mean, who the fuck else is gonna win? I have Harvick moving on because I hate my life. I have Busch moving on because I hate my life. I have Hamlin moving on. I probably shouldn't have Hamlin moving on, but I do. I have Chastain moving on because I hate my life. And I have Logano moving on because I hate my life. Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. That's a spread. Who's going to win these races? Well, let's find out. Can I please stop burping? For Las Vegas, I have Kyle Busch winning this race to rectify the spring, and Kurt's going to be able to be at the track in this race and celebrate in victory lane with him and have the celebration in front of fans that he should have had in 2020. And it's all going to be very nice, and Busch is going to be in the Final Four, and he'll probably announce that he's going to the CGR 10 in victory lane. Larson is going to win Homestead because it's got to fucking happen at some point, dude. It has to. It fucking has to happen at some point. It has to. And then I have Logano winning Martinsville because fucking the way this year's gone, he probably will. Now, I have Harvick moving on and not Elliott. Now, despite the fact that the entire chase is structured to make sure that Elliott makes the Final Four every year with the Roval in one round and Martinsville in another round. But, hear me out. Do you have any idea how badly I want this to happen? I fucking hate Harvick so much. But he was the best driver in 2020. And despite being the best driver in 2020, he didn't make the Final Four, did he? Yeah, I don't think he did. But just consider this. Consider this. The fact that Elliott had like 2 full races in points ahead of second place points. Going into the chase. Just imagine. Just imagine how delicious it would be if Elliott were to miss the Final Four. And not only that, but in a season where he's been utterly irrelevant besides 2 races, Harvick moved on instead. Oh, it would be so delicious. It would bring me to tears, man. I don't know how else to describe it other than perfect. There is no other outcome that I want. I don't care about anything in this entire video besides this. This is all I want. All I want. As for the final race, between these 4, I mean, fucking they've been in the Final Four a million times. All of them. Busch, I mean, he'd be the only Gibbs driver, so they'd probably throw all their support that they could into the 18 car, and maybe he'd fucking have a chance to go out on his NASCAR career before, and he could take a fucking championship. It's his 3rd championship into IndyCar. He could. But Gibbs has sucked this year, so probably won't happen. And even if he did win, they'd just find some random piece of tape on his car and fucking disqualify the entire thing. So he's not winning the championship, obviously. Larson has been irrelevant this year compared to last season. It's been great. That's the only positive takeaway at this point, even though he's won races. I'm so fucking sick of Larson's existence. But once again, if he'd just gone to Stuart Haas instead, he'd probably be one of my favorites. Isn't that funny? Logano has just been fucking annoying this year. I mean, that's every year, but more so than usual. He's just won shit races after shit races for the last 3 years. I just don't know what to say other than that. And then there's Harvick, who used to own Phoenix until it became the championship track, and then suddenly he sucks at Phoenix. Funny how that works. Ever since I went to see the 2018 Chase Phoenix race in person, Harvick has sucked at Phoenix. Ever since. It's interesting how that works. But the point that I'm trying to make is that out of these 4 drivers, who has the best shot? And, like, all things considered, this is one of the worst Final Fours I've ever had. And the fact that it could probably be even worse than the way that I have set it up, that really just goes to fucking show how this season's gone. But all of that being said, out of these 4, who do I think has the chops? Who do I think is going to win this championship? And who do I think is going to win this championship if I had to put my streak of 2 consecutive correct championship picks on the line? I think it's Harvick. I do. I genuinely do think it's Harvick. Everything is set up for it. The storyline is there. Him sucking all season. Him not even being close to being the best driver in the chase, in the field. Meanwhile, Elliott has been like 5 positions ahead of everyone else in the fucking championship hunt the entire season. The story's there. And if there was any way for NASCAR to get rid of the fucking chase, I think it would be Elliott being a full race ahead of everyone else in regular points, but not making the Final Four. That would be the difference right there. That would be the difference. Maybe we could finally get rid of the chase. Just think I've been saying that. I've been saying that on this channel for nearly 10 years. We could finally get rid of the chase. I've been saying that on this channel. On this fucking channel for almost 10 years. But think about it. Think about it. Like, Harvick's been a top 10 driver, besides road courses, since like May. And considering how, like, no other Stuart Haas driver is in the chase, besides Briscoe, who was sucked all year, like, they have all the time to put all their resources into Harvick every single week to get into the Final Four. Meanwhile, all these other teams are eating each other alive. This is one of the boldest championship predictions that I've ever made, and yet I think it might be the best. Thanks for watching this video. I fucking hate NASCAR. I want it to die. I want to also die myself. But yeah, this has been a video. I'll see you in whatever it is I make next. And if you only came here to comment that, oh, I thought you were done, shut the fuck up. You are stupid. I am done. I just wanted to make a video because I've always made this video. Thanks for watching. This has been KamikazeGames, and I'll see you in whatever it is I make next. Hopefully, it is not NASCAR related. Bye.